Hi, and welcome to my channel, where we go beyond the buzzword, beyond the basics, and beyond the BS to help you really master marketing agility. Today, I have to rant a little bit today because I want to ask you a question, and I'm afraid that I already know the answer. How many teams are you on? Is it more than one? Yeah, it's I can almost guarantee it's more than one. Is it more than 5? It's okay. No one can hear you. You can say, yeah, it's probably more than 5. Yeah, here's the thing. You should only be on one. We have got to stop this obsession with being on all the teams and bringing together people around a project and instead create stable, persistent, high-performing, agile teams to which we flow our work. No, this is not a crazy thing that is utterly impossible. It is actually a thing that I'm going to tell you why and how we should do. But first, please go ahead and subscribe to updates for this channel. It really helps me know that the content that I am creating is helping you, and that's really why we're here. We want you to be able to master marketing agility, and if the things that we're doing are helping, we'll do more like that. If the things that I'm doing are not doing that, we'll do less like that. So this is a very iterative process in the name of agility, so please let me know it's working by subscribing, liking, all the good things for this channel, and then you'll get more like what you liked. So, having said all of that, let's talk about teams. Teams should be very clear. It should be very obvious who is on a team, who is not on a team. And the people who are on the team should have a very good reason to work together. They should have a meaningful reason to collaborate. Otherwise, they're just a group of people that happens to sit near each other and kind of talks about their work sometimes. They need a meaningful reason to collaborate. Ideally, that reason is directly connected to your customer or your audience. So we have teams that can become an expert in a stage of the customer journey. We have a demand generation team. We have a retention team. We have a conversion team. They know all about people at that stage, and they can really crush it by helping those people where they are in their customer journey. Or you could have them serve a particular business unit. You can have them, however you arrange the teams, it needs to be about the customer, and they need a good reason to be together. And if you can connect that to a core KPI, so much the better, because now the team can really measure their impact in their area of expertise. Crucial piece of the team dynamic. And when we get away from project teams and into really stable agile teams, then we get rid of one of the worst parts of modern knowledge work, which is context switching. Now, this is what we used to call multitasking when we thought it was really cool and clever to jump back and forth between a bunch of things. But what we've discovered is that's a terrible idea. No one can really multitask. And what we actually do is our brains have to jump from one thing to another. Can't multitask, okay? There's like 2% of the population that actually can. They call them super taskers now. You can take a test. I'll put the link in the notes for this video and you can go and test it. It's really hard and you're gonna fail. And then you can come back and accept, just like I had to accept, that you're not a multitasker, and that instead what happens when you have to jump from task to task or project to project is that your brain like grinds gears. It doesn't go immediately to the next thing. It has to switch, and that's context switching. And while your brain is doing that, it's not being productive. It's just trying to get from where it was to where you're telling it to be. And so that's waste. You can't be actively, productively working while you are context switching. But when we're in project teams, we switch all the time. All the time. We jump back and forth because we're trying to work on project A, but then the project manager for project B comes along and says, hair's on fire, things are behind, I need you to do this right now. So you finally make a little bit of headway with that for an hour or two, but then you have a status meeting for project number 3, so you have to stop what you're doing and go in there, and then you have to answer a bunch of emails about project 4, and by the time the day is over, you've accomplished like this tiny little sliver of actual productive work. So context switching, bad, happens way too much when we are organized around projects. We also need these stable teams because without them, high performance is not possible. High performance is when you have this group of people that's like magic, right? They do more than anyone could have possibly imagined in a short amount of time, and it's awesome, right? It's this seemingly just out of the blue, amazing scenario that is hard to pin down why it happened if you don't know what's going on, but it's because they're a high-performing team. And you don't get to be a high-performing team if you come together around like a 6-week project and then poof, we disband. We need the teams to stay together. Like 6 months is how long it takes to pull together a high-performing team. You need stable, persistent groups to achieve that. The other great thing about teams when they stay together and move towards high performance is they have the opportunity to develop this really cool thing called psychological safety. This is basically makes it okay for everyone to voice their opinion, even if it's controversial and not quite what everybody else is thinking. But there's no interpersonal consequence, right? There's no bad thing that happens when you speak up. And what the folks at Google discovered over years and years of studying thousands of teams is that it's psychological safety that is the major predictor of team success. Not how qualified the people are, not how amazing the leader is, it's whether or not they have psychological safety. It's a big deal to enable this to exist inside of a team. But if we are jumping back and forth between a dozen projects, we do not develop camaraderie and psychological safety with the people that we work with. Okay, we need stable teams. They create focus, they create psychological safety, they enable high performance. They actually, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I'm gonna say it anyway. They give you time to actually do work. I know, right? It's crazy talk, but it actually happens. Instead of spending 7.5 of your 8-hour days in meetings, you focus on a few Agile meetings, which we'll create some videos about so you know how they're supposed to work, but you spend your time in a tiny handful of Agile meetings, and that's it. You don't have to go do project meetings, you don't have to go explain to your stakeholders what's going on, and the teams function so much better. But we cannot have this if we are project-based. It can't happen, right? I mean, just think about it in a very simple way. I used to be a content marketer. I'm still a content marketer in a lot of ways, but before I was an Agile coach, I was only a content marketer. And I was one of the few writers in the SaaS company that I worked at. So anytime there was a project that needed words, I was probably on it. So if we had said, okay, Andrea's on 10 project teams, it's gonna be really hard to disentangle her. So let's just run all the projects using Agile. That's better, let's do that. Well, one of the core tenets of a functional Agile team is that they have a 15-minute daily stand-up meeting every day. Well, if I'm on 10 teams, now I have to go to 10 15-minute daily stand-ups, and we have not made progress in the right direction. This is not what we want to do. So the project thing just doesn't work. Trust me, people, it doesn't work. Instead, we need stable, persistent, customer-centric teams. Now, I know what you're thinking. We are a 30-person marketing department, so we would need to build 6 or 7 Agile teams to follow the guidelines, right? They're small, they're focused, but we only have 2 copywriters. Where do they go? This will never work. Trust me, it will work. We're going to go into a lot more detail on this in future videos, but I have sat down with teams of all sizes with all kinds of crazy permutations, subject matter experts of which there's only one, and we only need them 1 day a month. So where do they go? And we only have 2 copywriters, but we need to build 7 teams. It's all possible, right? Shoot me an email. I'll put my contact information with this video. Send me your org chart. I will show you how you can make it happen. You've got to think, though, about customer-centric, persistent teams, not project teams. That is the way forward. That is the way to productivity, high performance, high quality, and amazing things happening at the team level that will never be possible if we remain hung up on project teams. Okay, I think I'm done ranting now for a little while. No doubt this will come back around in future videos. But remember, key thing is no project teams, stable, customer-focused teams with a meaningful reason to collaborate and core KPIs. You can make it happen. Trust me. I can help if you need help, but I have faith in you. You can do it. All right. As we've said, you like what you see, you subscribe, and hit the little hearts and the likes and the things so that I know that this is helpful. These videos are for you, right? To help you really scale that summit, find the agile place that you want to be. I want to help. Let me know if this is helpful. I will see you very soon.